Oh, hello. Part 3. All right. Point 10. Let's keep it moving. Keyword flow. Ready, go. Okay, so I claim my offspring while under the age of consent as my property. Offspring whose existence is made possible through God's grace and by the combination of genetic property between me, man, of a name, of a family, and woman, of a name, of a family. Ownership, which is shared and reflected in a similar affidavit affirming the truth and signed by name of family, right? So that's point 10. So basically what I do in this one right here is that you have to lay out what your property is, and then what your property is you have genetic property, the things that come from your genes, right? And then they form a whole new being, right? And then within that new being is a new vessel, but then that vessel until a certain point is my property. Right. That vessel is my property and I have a responsibility to that property to make sure that it is administered properly because I am the trustee of that property to a certain extent because even though it's genetic property, I do not own that property. I only help administer that property. And that's what I do, right? That's just what I do. So no other entity or no other trustee can come in and then they can say that they can administer my property unless I sign off someplace that says that you have permission, you have authority to administer my property, right? If we don't have a contract, no substance. Boom, that's it. That's done, right? So that's what 10 means, right? No contract, no substance. Don't talk to me about my property, period. The end. Okay. 11, right? Persons, municipal corporations, or private corporations possess no interest in my private property, possesses no authority to make claims or trespass against my private property, and possess no authority of rights whatsoever over myself or my private property. So, here you go. Trustee Redman. This is what this means, man, is that, hey, look, okay, I have a lot of responsibility and, there's certain things that I have to do. And I want to give you the tools to be able to do what you need to do, so I want you to be my trustee. So here, trustee, can you go and I want you to administer my property. I'm telling trustee, administer my property, trustee. How do you feel about that? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So do you agree with the terms and conditions on this piece of paper that we have called our Constitution, right? Is that okay for you to operate under? Oh, yeah, sure. Cool. Okay. Trustee Redman, thank you very much, right? So Trustee Redman, is always going to do what's written, right? And that's just, Siggy, stop, no, go to work, right? Siggy's whining, I swap the dogs out and then they hang out with me while I do my lectures because I like their spirit energy. But Siggy's a whiner, right? So you hear her go, because she just whines so we got her during the coronavirus, right? So she's a reflection of everything that happened during the coronavirus because she's afraid of everything, her own shadow. She hears knocks, the mailman, sometimes pops through and she's just like, oh my God, right? She's just spastic, but I love her. Her energy's so cute. Oh, Siggy, but whatever. Okay. So check this out. Where were we? 11, like Siggy, my property, I'm her trustee. I am Siggy's trustee because I have to administer her being, right? Because she can't do certain things because she's not aware, right? So I have to make sure that she has the food and the shelter and the care and everything like that. I have to make sure that she can go have fun, right? I can make sure that she can go poop and pee. And, I do all of that. I do all of that because that is what I do as trustee for my spirit, my spirit animal, Siggy. That's just that simple. So that's just why I know that no persons can do anything other than what I tell them that is written, what they can do, because I'm the beneficiary of the trust, right? So that's the pattern. You have trust, you have beneficiary, and then you have trustees. The trustees help administer the trust for the beneficiaries, right? So you always have 3 points. I like that. Okay, let's keep it moving. Point 12. All right, here we go. Wait, time check. All right, we're doing good. Okay, point 12. 1, 2. I am not an expert in the law. However, I do know right from wrong. If there is any, check this out. If there is any man or woman damaged by any statements herein, right? Herein means in this document that I'm presenting. If he or she will inform me by facts, I will sincerely make every effort to amend my ways. Right? I hereby and herein reserve the right to amend and make amendments. Okay, let's rewind. I hereby and herein reserve the right to amend and make amendments to this document as necessary in order that the truth, because I always want to focus on the truth, right? I want the facts, right? So in order for the truth may be ascertained, we got to make sure it's certain, point by point to this document as necessary in order that the truth may be ascertained and proceedings justly determined. If the parties given notice by means, that means you. So if you see this, you've been noticed, right? That means I'm giving you knowledge, right? Because that's what notice is. Notice means knowledge, so when you see notice, then that means you're getting knowledge. That's a good thing because knowledge helps, right? So let's go back, right? If the parties given notice by means of this document have information that would controvert, go opposite of, right? And overcome, do you have authority? This affidavit, please advise me in written form of affidavit within 3 days, right? I want you to testify, put your name on the penalty of perjury that what you're saying on the paper is the facts, right? I want you to state your facts, put your facts down so I can see them, you can see them, and then we can be both on equal terms, right? We got to be flat, right? We got to make sure that it's flat, and then we got to make sure that the court is open and fair and everybody can see what the rules are to the game. That's all we're doing, right? So within 3 days from receipt hereof, right? So, you have to do it within 3 days after you've gotten this, right? So after you've gotten this, fire it off in 3 days if you have something to say, right? But just make sure you testify. That's really that simple, right? Affidavit form. All right. From receipt hereof, providing me with your counter affidavit, proving with particularity by stating all requisite actual evidentiary facts and all requisite actual law, and not merely the ultimate facts or conclusions of the law, that this affidavit statement is substantially and materially false, sufficiently to change materially my status and factual decisions. Okay? Right? So if you think that you have authority and you have jurisdiction over my vessel, my being, my property, right? Please show me where you got that authority from in the form of an affidavit, on a piece of paper. Put your mind down, put your testicles on testes. That's where testimony comes from. That's why I say it, but it's words really, so the root word of testimony is testy. Testy is testicle, right? The testicle are the two circular things called your balls, right? So then, what you do, women's balls are on the inside and they call them ovaries, right? So they're protected by a better cage than men's balls because men's balls just swing on the outside. Right? Women's ovaries are protected, by a cage, their rib cage, right? So they have better armor than we have on our testes, so then what they used to do back in the day is that, in order for you to present your facts and in your case, and in order for them to understand that what it was that you were saying was true, you had to put something on the line, right? And then what people put on the line at that time was their testicles. Right. Then boom, there they go. If I'm lying, take them. Right. So that's how serious this is. Right. When we're dealing with contract, it's like, I'm putting myself on the line by saying that what I'm saying is true. Right. And then I'm daring you to show me that what I'm saying is not true. And if you can't show me that what I'm saying is not true, then that means you lose. Right. So if you do anything against what I'm saying right here, right, and you don't do what you're supposed to do, then that means you lose, I win, we keep it moving, and then we'll go to the next move. What's the next move? Let's see what it says, right? Your silence stands as consent, right? So if you don't do anything, then that means you consent to what it is that I'm saying, and it is true, right? And tacit approval of, you see what it's going? The factual declarations herein being established as facts as matter of law. That's point 12, right? So if you have any evidence, any factual firsthand knowledge that says that what I'm saying in my document in my court of record is false, right? So if you believe that anything that I'm saying is false, please show me. That's all. So those are the 12 points, right? So that's just what you do, right? I got 12 points, so these are the 12 points, the court of record. And then it's the court of record because, right now I'm on page 3, right? But it's the court of record and it's the affidavit of status, right? So this is my status. I'm telling you what my status is, and I just used 12 points, right? So go ahead. If you want to counter any of my points, just go ahead, mark them off and then do it. And, counter, so counterclaim to what my claims are, right? And then we can just go back and forth until we figure out who's got the strongest claim, right? So then once we figure out who has the strongest claim is, and then we're settled, right? And then that's just how we do things in peace now. So we put our claims on paper, right? And then we show and we give notice through knowledge through mail, right? And then we use the contract mechanism through mail, right? Because once you sign the contract, registered mail return receipt, then that means the contract is closed, right? So now we have activated the contract and we have a certain time frame, to see this contract go through, right? And then if it doesn't go through, then whatever's in that contract remains true. Right. And then if anybody goes against the contract, then that means they've breached contract. And then that means that somebody has been harmed. Right. So just don't go outside the boundaries of what's in the contract, and then everything's going to be cool. And then that's why contract is just simple. Right. It's just put the words down, put them on the paper, and then just be done. All right. So those were the 12 points. Let's keep it moving. So that's 12 points. So I got what do I have? I have the knowledge. Knowledge is notice, right? So then that closes it out, and then we have verification. So I'm gonna do that in the other parts, right? I don't know how many other parts I'm gonna have for this, but we're almost done. So we're getting the flow, right? It's super crazy simple, right? Just do no harm, right? Notice, recognize the order, right? You have trust, right? You have a trustee and you have a beneficiary, right? So the trustees are the ones that serve the beneficiary, right? So the trust was made for the beneficiaries, right? And then the people that operate the trust are called trustees, right? Because the beneficiaries have to be made well and whole and healthy in the trust, right? So, all right, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna go chill. I'm gonna do my thing, right? Have some water, stretch my legs, move around a little bit, and then think, right? And then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna lay my tracks down on the knowledge is notice. Right. And then we're just going to keep it moving. So I'll see you in the future. No one's having more fun than us. Bye.